updates in my life.
Hey, spiritual bliss.
Hey, let me throw this out there real quick. Then we're gonna go on with the program because this popped in my mind when you were talking. How about aside from us building prisons with our own kids, how we build how we with men? A lot of single mamas, you know, created the issue that have them in the situation to be a single mama. I hope I'm not trying to offend nobody, but I see that a lot. Like you know that you on your own because of certain traits and characteristics in this partner, yet you have enabled and encouraged that same shit in your son, and you don't see nothing wrong with it.
Nothing at all.
Just stop. Hey, Jess, everybody left but me. What's up with this?
Oh, I was texting her a picture of what it's showing on my side. Like, I don't even see myself when I go to turn on camera. It doesn't show me anything. I don't. And I updated twice.
TikTok been tripping a lot here lately.
Like, there was literally 2 updates there, which is wild. Why wouldn't it just update all of them? I don't know. Technology is not working in my favor today. But it's okay.
Aside from the technical difficulties, how has your week been, Jess?
How has my week been?
Yeah.
Listen, y'all, I'm on the struggle bus with the rest of y'all. The energy's been wild, headaches and fatigue and all the things. All the things. But we're not stressing it. We're just gonna keep it moving and we're just gonna keep it moving.
Absolutely.
And then too, a lot of people have the holiday blues. And a lot of people are grieving, holiday bring that, you're grieving, but it seems around the holidays it can be especially intense. For me, it has been. I can't speak for other people.
Oh no, it's been intense for sure. And I know that we're having the winter solstice, but this week's energy has been different. It's been a little heavy this week. And not just for myself, but for everybody I've pretty much encountered this week. And so we just need to release it. We need to do a little quick dance part or something, Ms. V, just so we can release this energy all together collectively. What y'all think?
Well, I'm going to be the DJ because I ain't getting up and dancing.
Well, find us a song. So we can release this energy. I feel like twerk.
Release it. I don't know because, see, I'm from a different generation. I don't listen to the new stuff. I don't even know what to pull up.
Look, I like the old school. That's why Lena, old school? Yeah, Lena be calling me grandma. I'm talking about I like to be in the juke joints. And I do. And I do.
Well, I don't think you listen to the music I listen to because this is what I listen to, Keisha.
Come on. Look. Don't sleep on me now, Miss B. Hey.
Don't that sound good? Well, this song goes out to anybody that got somebody
that will not be me.
Might want to hold on to.
That's the jam right there, Miss B. What you know about that?
See, that's what I call a good thing.
This my boy right here. I'm trying to go see him in concert.
I used to hang out
every night. Running in the club.
Yeah,
all I had everything.
I thought I never needed love. That's when God sent an angel straight down from up above.
Look, do I need to turn this off, Keisha? Because you're getting a little bit too active over there. You're getting a little bit too active,
That's
Keisha.
That's the jam. Look, come on,
the
turn
girl
me
I
up.
Love me for Keisha. Yeah, I'm gonna let it play out. Okay, we're gonna get the energy up, get the vibe right.
Hype me up.
I don't care what they say. Tell them when I get turn my mic on, but I can't come through the stage.
I can't stay too long.
I gotta keep moving. My girl, she waiting. I don't wanna be foolish.
Got a good thing going on. And I ain't trying to lose it.
Can't stay too long. I gotta keep moving.
Okay, I'm gonna turn y'all off because y'all got to get back focused now. We're about to
Yes.
go into ethers. Yeah, but I love me some King George. I like that kind of music that make me feel good. Yeah,
Yes. So
even though I don't have a man.
I'm gonna work with Jess over here on this side real quick. While I also tap into her bio because Jess be sleeping on herself.
She really
She
does.
is so powerful and amazing. And when I tell you I love this soul sister of mine named
Mhm.
Jess. So we're still working on her camera. That's what we
Okay.
doing. But in the midst of that, I just wanted to tap in and tell you guys a little about Jess. Jess is an intuitive who works with the Akashic records in a grounded and practical way. She didn't come to this work through training or titles. Catch that. But through lived experience and need to understand her own life more clearly. Her approach is quiet, consent based, and centered on awareness rather than predictions. Just helps people notice patterns, lineage influences, and deeper themes at play. Not to tell them what will happen, but to help them make sense of what has already happened. She believes clarity comes from presence and that the Akashic Records responds when we're ready to be honest with ourselves. Clock it. I love that.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. So Jess, are you with us, love? If
I'm,
you can hear, we can
I
keep
hear
going.
you. I'm smiling. You can't see me, but I'm smiling.
Okay. Well, we just gonna keep going. We're gonna keep going. So it's okay. TikTok has been doing its own little thing this week. So hey, we're gonna press through. You say spiritually taught. I love that Coco. She is. She's spiritually taught.
Mhm.
I like that.
Absolutely.
I like that a lot.
So, Jess, for those who may be new to your work, how do you explain the Akashic records in a way that the soul understands, not just the mind?
Um, because you sent me these questions and I didn't prepare for nothing. We were just gonna wing it in the moment.
We gonna let it
Okay,
flow. That's what we
so
do.
think of the Akashic records as your soul's library. Everything and anything that has ever happened with your soul, from emotion to trauma to lifetimes to future, past, present, everything is stored within your records. And there's many types of records. I don't want to go too far, but each person has, think of it as your book of life. Each person has their own book of life. And it is kind of like a cosmic network, right? Think of it like a cosmic Wi-Fi network. Um, so when you want to view something that's past or a certain thing, you tap into that signal.
Yes. So, with the Akashic records, I have really been drawn and interested in. I think Miss V have already taken the classes. Am I correct?
He has.
Mhm.
Yes. So V has already taken the class. I am waiting to take the class, but I'm definitely going to take the class. What really intrigued me was how you spoke very briefly. Um, you were able to tap into my Akashic records and you spoke very briefly with me about it, but it unlocked so much for me. It unlocked my daddy issues that I've been struggling with. It unlocked so much for me just with that little snippet. So from there, I've been obsessed with Akashic records.
Coco in the chat talking about give us some feedback, V. Listen, you don't want to get me
Yes.
started. Because Jessica's class, whew, it was probably one of the most spiritual, transformational classes I've taken since I've been on my journey. I learned more about myself in that class than I have the whole year plus that I've been on this journey. When you enter your records, when you enter that space, there's nowhere for you to hide. And it's not a scary thing. It could be a very emotional thing, a very emotionally charged thing. But wow, I Let me first off say that I learned pretty quick, and I've been going to my records on my own ever since. I've always been attracted to British things. I think Idris Elba was just going to be there anyway, but I mean other British things. Like I always loved the accents. I was drawn to the, just everything BBC. I wanted to watch. I was just drawn in, and through my records, I actually got to go through to one of my past lives, and I was a man in in England, in London to be exact. And I don't mind sharing this experience because I've seen him several times, and he's always in the library, and he was an attorney. And he told me the first time I met him that one of my gifts, and he handed me a book, but I miss it. Basically, that my words, the way I speak, was a gift. That was one of my gifts. And if you knew me in real life, you would know that I'm always been self-conscious about how much I talk. Like I could literally be holding a conversation and I'll be saying to myself, okay, V, be quiet, you're talking too much, you're babbling. And I really felt like that was a flaw. But this taught me that it's not a flaw. It's one of my superpowers, and it's part of my calling. So, that's, and it changed my perspective on that thing. You know what I mean? So now instead of feeling bad about how much I talk and I got an opinion about something, now I just flow with it. And I realized that I reach my flow state pretty quickly when I just let it flow. Absolutely. And I know that that's how spirit is using me.
And I agree with Coco. You have so much knowledge to share, Ms. B. And not only that, when you captivate us when you speak. You naturally demand our attention, and you get it. And it's just natural. And so don't ever silence your voice. But also, you spoke on him being a lawyer. You see how that ties in into your current life as well. So that's amazing. And I'll just briefly talk about without TikTok trying to ban us, I'm just gonna give y'all a little PG snippet of my Akashic records, because we couldn't talk about that on live. We had to have a personal conversation. But for me, I was taken advantage of by my husband in a past life, and he treated me like a $2. Literally selling me to anybody who the highest bidder, and so it tied into me in my current life because just being transparent and honest about it, my father has always diminished women. He has no respect, and so it triggers me really, really, really bad. But not only that, it's just how he's treated me as a woman as well, as a young lady as well. So it really, without giving out too much to talk about it, it really started to make me feel as if my father may have been my husband in a past life. It's just too much correlation there. And me and Jess have been working through that together. So we're gonna go a little deeper when I take the class. But yeah,
I don't want to sound like a fangirl, but I just gotta say, Jessica's one-on-ones are part of the class that I love the most. The way she has formatted this class, and Jess, I told you this myself. You have the group experience, but then that's that time she schedules between the group sessions, and she's one-on-one with you, and that was amazing. And she's so patient, and she, I could text her at 11 o'clock at night and like, oh my God, Jess, I saw such and such, such, such. And she's like, hi, T. She's just like, V, I told you, stop apologizing for taking up space. And, she's just such an all around. If you haven't taken her class, and this is not a plug for signing people up for Jessica's class, but I gotta say, if you are at that point in your journey where healing is really your focus, going into your records provides a multitude of opportunities for you to do that. And
And
I
let's
want to
talk
ask
about
Jess.
her. Let's talk about her teaching technique before you move on. V.
Oh, what's the best?
Jess has an amazing teaching technique. Like she really breaks it down in to where I'm a detailed person. So you can't just tell me go do something and expect me to do it. You gotta break it down and give me the steps. And when I tell you, out of all of the classes that I've taken, Jess was the most profound for me. She impacted me the most in the most positive way because she left no stone unturned with me. Like I really was able to digest the information that she gave and apply it to my life. So
Yeah.
I'm very grateful for that. So you can go on with the questions that you have for Jess, because I have some more questions
Well,
too.
I want to stay right where Keisha is. So, Jess, tell us what was your thinking, your thought process when you were formulating how you wanted your class to flow as far as your teaching. We want to hear.
So it's funny that Keisha brought that up because Keisha was one of my mentees for mediumship. Was it August? I think it was August, July or August. She was one of my mentees, and so that was really like me trying to figure out, one, I wanted to mentor you guys, right? But two, like I needed to figure out what suited my style of teaching. And I am not one of those, like, love Ermi, love her classes. It's just when it comes to the records, it wasn't for me to set it up in that way because I didn't feel like you guys needed to take a test. I didn't feel like you guys, I felt like what I was doing with you guys in the mentorship was similar to what I would be doing with people in class, and that's practical application. Like
Mm-hmm.
actually doing the work and not just talking about it and talking about the experiences, but literally diving in and doing it. And so in my class, I have one class that the very first one, it's an overview of what the records are, why we're going through it, and what we're doing. But every class after that is practical application. And really all that spirit led to because I had the information all set up to make slides for every class and I never did. I only made them for the first class, and that's because only the first class was meant to be an informative teaching style class. Everything else is practical application. Like, and that's how I learn best too is all right, let's do it. Let's dive in and do it. Show me how it's done. Show me what it looks like so that I can understand and I can do it then too. So that was really what my inspiration was. And even in the mentorship with you, Keisha, like I was actively channeling with you guys. It wasn't just like me watching you guys saying, okay, do this, do this, do this. It was me doing it with you guys. And because I'm a student of life. Like I might be the one in the moment teaching you, but I'm still a student of life. And so I still love to be like in it and doing the practical application too. So I feel like that's what really led me there.
Yes, I love it.
That was a challenge to Jess because I kept trying to spin off in the ethers and she kept saying V, V. Like, no, all jokes aside, I felt like I was floating. My body was humming. I mean, like electric, pulsing, and all the things. And all I wanted to do was just fly off. And Jess was like, look, V, we're going to have to get you a tether. We're going to have to do something to help you stay where you're supposed to be. But it's exhilarating. It's a liberating. It's so, I've never felt anything like that in my entire life. I get hyped just thinking about that first time we went in. It was electric. Man.
Yes. So she sent me a meditation that guided me in. And in that particular one, I was a young girl. I saw the cabin, the field, but I had a conversation with, it felt like a great grandmother energy. And I called you, called you. I always call just crying, especially late at night. But I just be so overwhelmed, like, it's a new experience, but it's so beautiful. And Jess will hold space for you. Like me and Jess have been on the phone or texting for hours, on the phone for hours, And she doesn't mind. And I'm like, I done taken up so much of your time and your energy. And she's like, no, I don't mind. But that's that grounded. I think she keeps me grounded as well, Miss B. That's that Capricorn energy in her. So thank you, Jess. Jess, when did you realize that this wasn't just for your curiosity, though, that this was a calling for you, the Akashic Records?
Probably last year sometime. It's funny. Actually, no, it was earlier this year. It was probably like February, March of this year. The person that taught me how to access my records, we had a session, and it was then that I learned. Like I never pursued going like making a business out of the records because I didn't want to feel like I was stepping on her toes. Come to find out, like she was never specializing in the records, like, and she was told by an archangel, like, no, you need to guide her in and you need to teach her what you know. And I didn't know that until a year and a half after my first time accessing it. So I spent a year and a half learning and taking people in and doing things, and really just trying to navigate and map and learn as much as I could. And then when I found out that that person, like, that's not where their focus is, that's not where their interest is, I was like, oh, oh, okay, well then I'm gonna just go ahead and take off. I'm gonna do my thing then. Had no idea.
Well, you did your thing for sure. So we appreciate it. B, did you have any questions? Welcome in, sis.
Hi, everybody. Jess, could you tell us a little bit about what your main goal is with the class?
Yeah, so my main goal with the class is, so I started out guiding people into their records. I would have hour-long sessions where I would guide someone in, but kind of just drop them there. Like, you got access, cool, like now you're on your own, you go explore. But what I found is so many people either would not go back in without me, or they were not maximizing their capability of what they could do in the records. Um, and like that was my goal when I guided these people, right? Was to like go learn about you. But what I found is a lot of people were a little bit unnerved to do it on their own. A little bit nervous, didn't know where to start, didn't know where to look, so they just wouldn't. And so that was like really my driving force with the class, was not only like take you to the threshold and show you how to access, but also then show you how to call in your loved ones, how to read your soul contracts, how to view your past lives, how to revoke a soul contract, how to meet with your higher self, how to meet with your inner child, all the different things that I feel like are very important for like my ultimate goal for people that take the class would be to reclaim their power, reclaim their sovereignty, realize that you have always held your own power and that you never needed anyone outside of yourself to stake that claim and be like, no, I am that, you know, I am that girl, I am that bitch, and can nobody take that from me. So really guiding people in and doing it in the class format has been, oh my goodness, like watching so many women reclaim their power and realize that it's always been within that. It's been so rewarding.
I remember when we did the inner child, and I kept thinking, I was almost reluctant to do it because the first time I saw my inner child, like communicated with her, her face was disfigured, like she was hideous. Like I didn't like looking at her. And as we kept working through the class, and you encouraging me and showing me how to facilitate that communication, her face started to change, like to a regular face. Like the healing wasn't something I was seeing a month from now or 2 months from now. I mean, like it was like literally in the moment, real time, watching the healing take place in the records. That's what was so cool to me.
Wow. That's amazing. I can't wait to take this class, Jess.
Mm.
I can't wait to take this class. But the experience that I have experienced, like when you say that a lot of people don't go in by themselves, um, I can understand that. Because it's the fear of the unknown. I don't think I would have wanted to go back into my records just if I would have saw what you saw in my records. I don't think I would have went back in, but I also think that my I was protected when I went in on my own because I didn't see the gruesome scene, or I didn't see um the trauma that was afflicted on me. When I went in on my own, I only saw myself back in maybe the 1700s, but having a conversation. So I feel like that I was also protected. Like, she doesn't need to see that for herself. So that is why I feel like you are very essential to helping people unlock that, just because you will not only provide the knowledge, but you will also provide them with the courage to do so as well.
Mm-hmm.
You
No,
still
I'm there. I was I was forming my thoughts. No, you're absolutely right. And um I don't uh I genuinely feel like the records are not going to show you more than what you can handle, and you are so much, all of you are so much more protected than what you even realize. When it comes, like, your entire team, you can access them all in the records. Of course you can do it without the records, but it's a different it's a different thing in the records. It's different. Unless you've experienced it, there's no way to understand that level of just difference. Especially most of us being mediums, like, we communicate with transition loved ones, but when you're communicating with energies in the records, it is more personal, more interconnected. You can feel it on a deeper level. So you were absolutely protected. I mean, your team was never going to let you get to a point where they were like, "Oh, we're gonna drop Keisha off here, and we're just gonna let her figure it out and see all the gruesome things." If you're not ready for that, if they know that that's going to hinder you more than help you, they're not going to take you there. Now, that doesn't mean that I haven't seen people see some gruesome things on their first time in. I have, but I truly feel like it is needed and in that moment to get them to where they need to go, because most of us, if not all of us, operate in the intention and mentality that we are walking our highest path, our highest timeline, and that whatever happens is for our highest good. Same thing in the records. I don't believe that something would happen in there if it wasn't for someone's highest good.
I can see that divine alignment. Can't discredit that for sure. Um, Go ahead, V.
Oh, no, I wasn't gonna say anything. I'm listening.
Well, what's one of the biggest misconceptions people have about the Akashic records? Just you can.
That you have to go and be trained and do these week-long things, and you have to have a pathway prayer, and you could only get that through a shaman in the Amazon rainforest, through the gut. Like, when I before I ever accessed my own records, I remember wanting to go so badly. I was so intrigued by it, but I couldn't find any information. There were books, but the books didn't really give me that much. It was more of like stories than it was anything else. And they would talk about a pathway prayer, but no one would give you the pathway prayer. And if you wanted a reading, then it was like one question for $300, and you don't even get to meet the person. They send you a video, and it was all of these things that were so far out of reach. All of the information was so gate kept that when I learned how to go in, I'm like, what? It's been this easy the entire time? We even had a speaker in the Discord probably 2 years ago come in and talk about, and they were more business focused, but talk about how she had to go get a certification and she paid XYZ and she was given the pathway prayer, and if someone wanted to access, they had to go do the exact same thing to get the pathway prayer, to get access, and blah blah. And it really like lit a fire under me because like no, everyone should have access. Everyone should be able to remember who the fuck they are.
And not only remember who they are, you know, it's cool that you get to see your soul contracts, how you're connected to other people, and that helps you understand why you're here. It's really a real purpose, because when you understand what the mission is, now you're not going off on ghost missions, you know, paying attention to things that don't really matter, that's not going to impact you as far as your growth and fulfilling the contract that you're here for. Do you think that that's one of your most common questions, Jess? You know, what's my soul contract?
Oh my god, if y'all were here, my light just turned off by itself. Literally one of the most common questions I get is what's my purpose? But here's the thing, like your purpose could be so multi-layered that it's never one thing. And great example, V came to me nearly a year ago for an Akashic Records reading. And mind you, I tried to like persuade her, like, do you want me to just guide you? Like, I can guide you. She's like, no, 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 you read it. And I have my questions. And because I don't like I hate that question. What's my purpose? I hate that question. And like, we can like slap a label, you're a healer. Okay. But that healer could be multifaceted and working in 20 different areas. And those are all 20 different subcategories of that purpose. So I mean, I could say, yeah, my purpose is I'm a guide, but I'm so much more than that. And I have so many other purposes within that. So that's the number one question I get. And I just, it's so much
So
more complicated.
I feel like for me, I feel like that's why I don't really say to people, I'm a psychic medium, I'm this, I'm that. I'm just V. I'm just walking my journey. I'm just doing the things because I don't want to be locked into one box because I don't know who I am yet. I don't know what I'm going to aspire to be. You know, today I might be talking to y'all on this podcast, and next week I might be stripping. No, I'm just
And you
playing.
know what? But you know what, V? You're right, because that was one of the questions I used to always ask, what's my purpose? What's my purpose? And then I realized your purpose can change. It can literally change. Like you,
Daily.
exactly. Like you, I could be on the pole too next week. I could be a truck driver next week. Like, who knows? Like, so I agree with you on that uh statement, Jess. And that was also my next question. So thank y'all for go ahead and get that one out the way. Jess, with the Akashic records, can you elaborate on the difference between psychic readings, mediumship, astrology, and Akashic records? Like, um, what makes the Akashic records differ from those?
Okay, so if you're a psychic, you're tapping into living energies, right? So we're actively using whatever clairs we have online. So whether it's clairsentience, clairaudience, clairvoyance, claircog, clairalience, clairtangency, using all of our clairs. Now, as a medium, we also utilize all of those clairs, but we also talk to transition loved ones. So we can talk to not only things that are actively consciously living on this planet, but things that have also transitioned and are no longer in human 3D form. Because they're not dead, right? Like the energy is still very much alive. Astrology is the study of where the planets were when you were born. And now your natal chart can tell you about like your life's purpose, your soul purpose. Natal chart can absolutely tell you that, which is really fascinating because then astrology is also used in human design. Your human design is kind of like your operating system within this lifetime. They all really like merge together. Everything is interconnected, but your records are the quantum field. So if we are living in the 3D matrix liminal space, the quantum field is like pure consciousness. This is where you think something, it has to first be a thought before it can become a physical item. And the quantum field, so this is, I feel like I'm going to go too far out on a tangent, but why I love the quantum field and love doing work in the quantum in the Akashic records is coming from the things that I've gone through in my life. I'm such an instant gratification person. And if I'm going to do something, one, I want to do it right as a Capricorn, like do it right or don't do it at all. Cause you ain't gonna have me repeating nothing. But also in the quantum field, we're changing things on the atomic and subatomic level. So we're literally like changing the molecular structure of how things were and are. So if we want to heal and we want an instant gratification, the healing, doing it in the records, while it's not going to be like snap your fingers, it's automatically fixed. What it will do is transcend years, decades of trauma in no time. Like, I don't knock therapy because therapy is great. Therapists are amazing. It's not bad. This is just another take on it.
But that's what I was just talking about earlier, how you're seeing in real time healing taking place, things are being addressed. Like, and that I could name so many examples from when we were going into records. And I got a question for Jess, this kind of person. So I was in my records last night and I got a question. I was confused. So you were talking about the differences between mediumship and all that. Why would I be doing mediumship in my records? Like, why would spirits be coming to me in my records that I don't know?
Is it that you don't know them, or that you don't know that you don't know them? Or that you don't know that you know them?
I don't know that I know them. I didn't recognize them visually, the energy. And I was just confused. I'm like, because I said to the other person, I was like, why is he coming to me in the records? And both of us was kind of stumped, like, why is this happening? Because almost immediately when I got in, it happened. And I was so confused. I said, I'm gonna ask Jess about this when we get on this podcast. Sorry, Keisha.
So you were also like in such a flow state there in the Akashic records, right? So that's through the 8th chakra, the soul star chakra, which is also the same place that we connect to, that we have to raise our frequency to connect with the loved ones and the energies that we channel. My question to that energy would have been like, yo, who are you? Why are you here? Are you on my team? I need to know the specifics. And then pulling that contract to be like, what's my relation with you? Are you on my team? Like, I don't know what this is. I need answers now.
And go deep enough. I was just so surprised that he even popped up.
Well,
I don't know, because that doesn't usually happen.
Right. I would say I would go back in and summon him and start asking questions, or call on your record keeper or your main guy to be like, yo, I don't know who this is, and then also put a boundary in place. Like, listen, if I'm not calling you forward, I don't want you coming to me unless it's, an emergency, or unless it's this, or put a hard boundary in place.
Okay.
Well, I'm glad you asked that question. I'm glad you asked that question, V, because my next question to Jess actually ties into that. Speaking of soul contracts, can those contracts be healed? Or, well, we know they can be healed, so let's scratch that. But can they be rewritten in the Akashics?
Yeah, they can be revoked, they can be released, they can be rewritten. So we have free will, right? So like our soul decides like, okay, you know what, Jessica? I want Jessica to learn how to reclaim her power. I want her to know what it's like for her voice to be silenced so that she activates that throat chakra. I want her to know what it feels like to be so alone that she has to go inward to find her company and to know that she's loved and not look outward. So like whatever the lesson is, right? And one of my contracts that I actually revoked back in September was a karmic contract. Now, I revoked that contract because I was done with it. I learned the lesson. I went back. I saw the vow. I revoked all of it. Don't want nothing to do with it. My life took a wild 48-hour spin around the block. And Spirit laid it down. Listen. Okay, you talking to this motherfucker now. You revoked the contract. You talking to him now. Just know, you can do this, but you no longer have your safety net. Like, FA, FO. Like, we not gonna be there. I'm like, oh, had me shaking in my boots. I'm like, you know what? I can be real big and bad when I know I got my team with me. But the thought of them not catching me, like, not that they wouldn't catch me, but I'm gonna have to learn because that's my free will to choose to continue that path, even though I know I'm not supposed to, even though I know that it would lead me away from my highest purpose. So I can do it if I want to. But I'm also gonna have to deal with those very real consequences of whatever the outcome is. So it can be rewritten. And you can always create a new contract and you can revoke a contract, but just be aware of what you're doing. Make sure you have the most informed decision-making process on board with you.
Well, Jess, when we go in, I need to rewrite my whole damn contract. So I'm just kidding.
I like what Jess said about understand we have free will because and I'm not going to take us back to last week conversation, but part of the thing that bothers me the most about Christianity is that it doesn't feel like free will. Because if I do what I want to do, I feel like you're saying, oh, you're going to get punished because you're not being obedient. But then if I do what you say do, then I really don't have free will. So the understanding that I got from what Jess just said is that, yeah, you're not going to get punished because you're being disobedient, but you no longer have that protection that you would have had if you had stayed within the lane that we had set up for you. Am I interpreting that right, Jess?
Yeah.
Choices. Free will. And religion does take away our free will. But in either or, we still have choices.
Got choices.
Still have choices. So, absolutely.
Jess said she met Jesus. And that's the coolest shit I heard all I'm telling you, when she said that, she went up so far in my eyes. I was like, yo, I'm sorry, Jess, if I didn't supposed to share that, but I always thought that was the coolest thing.
Oh, well, we need a backstory, Jess. Come on.
So I was actually with the person that taught me how to access the records. We were in that session that was back in February or March. And she was teaching me how I had got in contact with her because some weird things were happening every time I was going into the records. Like my hands would start moving up. I know I'm not on camera right now. My hands would start moving up and they were doing these things and I wasn't understanding. Wasn't understanding that I was doing energy work, but spirit was kind of taking control of my hands and helping me move and do the things as I was learning. And so we were in and she was asking me for help with something and we were throwing a shield on her. But before we got to that part, we had met with the Council of Light and we had also had Jesus come in, Yeshua. And when I tell y'all, a man is so tall, I was like at his pinky toe. I was as tall as his pinky toe, staring up. It was so wild because a lot of these beings, because they've ascended, they appear very tall in the records. So the Council of Light appears very tall. Metatron appears very tall. Jesus appears very tall. Most angels and ascended masters will be seen as towering, extremely tall beings. But he was so funny. Like that was like my key takeaway because I'm coming from no background in religion, only what I've heard, the Bible thumpers and things like that, only what I've heard growing up and growing, like being in Texas and in Florida. I have no other experience with religion other than that, right? So for me, I'm like expecting this to be some really philosophical man and all. I don't know what I expected, but it wasn't what I got, and he was hilarious. Like I said something. What did I say? I said something because I expected him to be like all philosophical and like, and he's like, "Oh, you one of them? You think like that?" I'm like, "What?" Like he was making commentary and jokes, and I'm like, "What is going on right now? Like, what?"
Even Jesus can't believe the shit that's going on in his world today.
You so right. You so right.
How does that tie? Because I know I want to ask a question. How does that tie into the Christ consciousness? How does that work?
I mean, we're actively living Christ consciousness right now, right? We are actively doing it. All of us connected to spirit, following spirit, being spirit led in the things that we're doing, in the things that we're creating, in the things that we're bringing to the collective. This is Christ consciousness. We are living it. We are doing it. It's never been about going outside of ourselves to seek a higher power. It's always been about going within to figure out and learn, remember who the fuck you are. Yes, we're in this meat suit. Yes, we're living a very human life. But we are still a spiritual being. We have always had this power, but they've stripped it from us. They've stripped it from you guys. They've stripped it from everyone.
And I love the fact that just you're speaking from a different perspective because you didn't come out of a religious household. You didn't come from religion. Um, so for you to speak from a different perspective, because most of us, a lot of us, I'm not gonna say most of us, a lot of us have come from religious doctrine. And Jess is coming from a different perspective, but if you see the common ground, it gives you a clear picture of, you know, consciousness. So thank you for being here and just sharing with us, Jess. You have any questions, V? Yeah, go ahead, girl. Go ahead.
You know I do. You know I do. So, Jess, this may be far left field, but I like going there with you. Do you think the reason that the Council of Light and the Ascended Masters are so tall, because I was just recently reading about how giants walk this earth and all of these places that you could see where they had occupied space. Do you think those two things are connected?
I think it's absolutely possible. I've never thought about this question. From my perspective, why they're so tall in the records is their consciousness, their frequency, where they've ascended up to, right? So the ascension is not about like putting any of us on a pedestal and looking down on the others and being like, oh, I've ascended higher than you and I'm better than you. It's never been about that. It's always been about how deep are you willing to go, because every time we ascend and we level up, we also have to dig down deep into our roots and into our stuff, into our trauma, into our healing. So we can't have one without the other. So every time we level up, and these are our masters, these are beings that walk this earth and walked their path of enlightenment and achieve that. So their ascension, in my opinion, that's why they're so tall. They have expanded their consciousness, which has allowed them to raise their frequency so high, and that's why they appear high. But there were absolutely beings walking this earth, giants. Some of them still do. I've kind of like tiptoed into the Nephilim. Is that it? Nephilim?
That's what I've been reading about.
Yeah, because I was reading into the Nephilim tied to the genetics of red-haired people and Rh negative blood types, but that's a whole nother rabbit hole.
Another question.
Yes.
I want you to explain this to me. I want you to explain it because for a long time after I started my journey, I did not have this understanding, because people would say to me, you're going to heal your lineage. You're going to heal it back like 6, 8 generations. And I'd be like, oh, okay. But in my mind, I'd be like, how the fuck I do that? There was no clear understanding to me how your healing actually impacts the collective in your lineage. I now understand after finally getting comfortable enough to ask some questions, because sometimes when everybody knows something but you don't want to be the dumb one in the bunch. You be hesitant to ask those questions. So anyway, could you explain to people how your healing directly impacts your lineage, the collective, all of that?
Yes, but first I want to say there's no dumb questions. I love that you ask the most intriguing, thought-provoking questions because if I don't know the answer, then I'm like, all right, let's go find it. There are no dumb questions. Just a PSA for everyone out there. Ask the questions. I would rather you ask me 15 times the same question or ask somebody 15 times the same question than to not know or to not understand. Because if we're not doing our part to help other people, then are we really moving forward? Are we really walking our path if we're just like, we're watching them not understand? Now, if it's not for them to understand, they're not going to understand. But if they're actively trying to switch their perspective to view something differently, then absolutely, like, for me, like, I'm always going to help. But to get back to your question.
Jess, you are a rare gem, because you do make it. You do give us the invitation to ask you those questions. Like I asked you 1,000,001 questions, but because I felt comfortable with you. It's not a lot of people, and I don't want to sound like I'm downplaying spirituality, but it's just it's a point where it's more aesthetics now, um, and not. How can I put this and be nice?
They're spiritual bypassing, point blank, period. They're
Yeah.
not actually doing the work.
Thank you. They're not doing the work. And even though, we go to these people and they have these platforms and they say, I want to help you do this, and that. But when you get to asking those real questions, it's so much pushback. And so I feel you on that, V. Like I wholeheartedly, I am so grateful for Jess because she is my go-to person. Everybody know that she's my go-to person when I have those questions because she will answer the questions or we will find the answer together. But she doesn't belittle me in the process of me wanting to not find out the answer. So thank you for that. And you made a great point, Coco. They probably give you that pushback because they don't know, and I didn't look at it from that perspective. I just stopped asking. I just started going to Jess. I get just my whole paycheck at this point because she got all the answers for me. So, oh, go ahead, Miss B. I'm sorry.
No, you're fine. But I did want her to explain that because I feel like that's important. I mean, you're on the journey, the healing journey. How is it then impacting the collective and your bloodline?
So I really love that you answered this question because it's one thing that I feel like I wanted to address here, and I know that you too will wholeheartedly understand what I'm speaking on. But so when we heal, so when we're thinking about healing ourselves, right? I want to put into perspective where this trauma can stem from. When you were an egg in your mother's ovary, right? That egg was created while she was in her mother's uterus. Because those eggs are created, um, they're created while we're still in the womb. So whatever your grandmother was going through while pregnant with your mother is being passed on to you. So we're not only healing there, but we're also healing forward because when we heal, we're modifying our DNA. Things are switching, right? So that we don't have to necessarily continue on. And this is where science agrees with all of the spiritual things when we're talking about this, because epigenetics verifies that, like, for example, people that were in the SMOTC camps in the 30s, right? So they weren't able to eat. It may be that like their children, but for science terms, their offspring. Um, it was better suited that they remain thin and less hungry, or that now they could pack on the weight because at one point they lacked the nutrition and the nutrients and the energy, so now they pack it on tightly. So this is where like there's so many different things that converge into this one topic. But so if if it's not only affecting how our physical bodies work, then it's also affecting how our mental, emotional, how we develop, all of those things. And so we're healing backwards because we're working through the things. Our lineage is actively passing it forward. Somebody's got to step up to take it on. If it's not dealt with, it will be passed forward for future generations to continue to heal those things. And you'll see it. There's lineages where women were silenced, not allowed to speak, not allowed to speak out of turn, couldn't speak unless addressed. So they developed not speaking up. But then they get that daughter that's like, oh no, fuck you. I'm not taking what you said. I'm not doing none of that. Or then there's you know, SA is a really prevalent thing among nearly all women. And I know in my family, when it happened to me and when it happened to my daughter, my mother either didn't believe me or said that, oh, it's just something that all girls go through. My goal was to get it to stop, even though I didn't know that this was a generational thing. And so while it still was perpetuated with my daughter, what did happen was I believed her, we took action, and we took the steps to hold the perpetrator accountable, right? And to make sure that she got her justice, to make sure that she knew that she was loved, she was heard, that she wasn't less than, that she was believed, and it was not being swept under the rug to keep the family happy. So when we do these things, we give ourselves, our children, and our future lineage permission to not only heal out loud, but to be vibrant, to be sovereign, to be authentic in who we are without trying to assimilate, silence, perpetuate the cycle of any of those things moving forward. I hope that makes sense.
It does. It makes tremendous sense because I was just sitting here thinking, like when I did the ancestry DNA test, I'd focus in on my maternal lineage. And so it took me all the way back, generations upon generations. But one common thing that I did notice from doing the research was the women in my family have always been very dominant. And I guess you can say bitter. But when I kept digging deeper, it was because most of the women in my lineage have been the providers throughout generations. So it made sense of why they carried themselves the way that they carried themselves. Now, for me and my daughters, we don't want to be the providers. We want to tap into that feminine energy. And most of them married passive men. So it made total sense. But I said all of that to say, even on a physical level, the spiritual impact of it is it's just mind blowing, because I did the research on a physical level. But to hear you tied in on a spiritual level it's amazing. It's just I can't even put the words around it. Another thing that I did discover was the Benin Empire. My maternal lineage was actually connected to that. And the woman who ruled over the Benin Empire back then, before it was taken over and captive by the British, she ran the country. Well, she ruled over it with her 3 sons. So even in that, going all the way back to her, she dominated and her 3 sons worked with her, so it's amazing how we can connect the dots between our spiritual, physical, mental, emotional trauma all the way back. So yeah.
That's wild that you bring that up, because if she was ruling back then that was before the collapse of the matriarchy and the feminine, right? Where the patriarchy rose. Well, now we're in a time where divine feminine is rising, but we're not discounting the divine masculine. But toxic masculinity's got to go. The patriarchy's got to go. That old paradigm has to shift.
Right.
With that, we're seeing the rise of the divine feminine, our power. realizing what our power is. I've even started seeing a lot more men step into their divine roles, and not that femininity is bad, but they're actively walking their spiritual path. Men have a harder time in that because they are so ego based in their worldview that it's hard for them to surrender to the spiritual side and to release the egoic needs in order to do so. But I've been seeing so much more about it. Yeah.
Ooh, that get deep on every level. Because when you think we're talking about DNA emotional footprints. We didn't even discuss the physical footprint. You know, because I know I'm one of the things I want to find out is about this autoimmune, and because it runs in families. So there's quite a few people in my family that have had this disorder at different levels. And so I haven't got it yet, but I feel like, if I can clear that, maybe moving forward, it won't be so prevalent in that bloodline. I got a lot of questions about that. But I'm going to wait till we talk in class, Jess, because some of it is way out there.
But you're absolutely going to solve that. There's no doubt about it. You're going to figure out whether it's an energetic working or energetic and herbal working, a pair between the two. But I mean, the healing right now is so pivotal. It's so important for everyone, but for certain collectives, it's even more important right now that the healing take place. That yeah, and I mean, like, I'm hesitant to even say it here just because I don't want to be received wrong. I know that you would understand, and Keisha, you would understand. But I'm always, I don't want to be perceived wrong. But right now, healing, especially Black women, which is why, like I told you guys, I loved everything about that first podcast that you guys did. I missed most of the one with Ermi, but like I love everything that you're doing because your collectives need it more than ever, and you're bringing things to the surface, questions to the surface, issues to the surface that are often not spoken about, because I learned so much. I have no room to speak about your culture in general, like, because I don't know nothing. Like, I'm just, over here hanging out. Hey, but I know that the healing is needed, and I know that the priority right now is, I feel like it's really Black women, in like specifically Black women is where the healing is, and I'm watching it happen across the board, and it's beautiful. It's beautiful to watch it. It's beautiful to see you guys speaking your truth, being authentic, showing up authentically as you are, and not trying, no longer wishing to step into the roles that society wants you to be, and instead being who you are. And I love it.
Absolutely. Yeah, I was thinking about that one day, in a linear way. It was actually in November that this thought came to me. I'm 53 years old, and I am the first person in my mother's bloodline that was born with the right to vote.
Wow.
And I had never thought about it before, but there are so many firsts that I was born able to do versus my mother having to be part of that movement that fought for those things. So, I absolutely get that. It's a lot of healing that I feel come from certain things. Like, I am a lot more outspoken than my mom. I feel comfortable in certain situations standing up for myself, as a woman. And my daughter is, I always tell her, girl, you have no filter, child. Sometimes I'm scared to hear what come out of her mouth, but I love her dearly. But I'm just saying, each generation, I feel like we are moving the collective needle more than we ever had before. So I get what Jess is saying.
Absolutely. Jess, we know the holidays can be heavy for a lot of us. Even though, let me make this disclaimer, even with mediums, people think because we can communicate you know, in the spiritual realm, with the spiritual realm, we don't have those human emotions, and we do. So, my question to you, Jess, is with the holidays being here and the grief and all of that we're going through, how can the Akashic Records support someone navigating grief or loss in this season?
Um, I feel like if you're working your process of grief, um, you're feeling the things, you're going through the motions, then keep on doing that. But there's people out there like myself who are stubborn. You may not realize that your grief is tied to something else entirely. For me, I was stuck in the grief process for about 22 years, and it wasn't until a quantum session, which took place in the Akashic Records, that I realized that I wasn't sad. I wasn't upset that he was gone. I mean, I was, my father. I was mad. I was so mad that he lied to me and said he would never leave me. As a 10-year-old, how can you say that to someone knowing that you're gonna pass? But in hindsight, from my perspective now, he never did leave me. He's still here with me. But it took me realizing that I was mad at him to be able to continue on in my grief and in my healing. And there's still pieces because this time is very emotionally charged. And if your practitioners are not healing, if they're saying I have no grief because I am spiritually aligned and they're not doing the work, red flag, because spiritual bypassing is never part of the journey. Um, so that's just a little PSA. We all have very real humans. We can't bypass the human experience just because we're spiritual. We still have to honor our human life, our human experiences, that things are hard. They're not always going to be, glitters and sparkles because we're on this spiritual journey. No, in fact, it's the complete opposite. Like, you're facing your demons, your shadows, your dragons, and you're actively having to face things that hurt and scare you, and doing it in spite of that, and doing it bravely. And sometimes you might need someone there with you to hold your hand while you do it, and that's okay. That's okay. That's when you find someone who you resonate with that has been through something similar to you. That is how you find who you're meant to work with, right? Their testimony is going to be what inspires you. And this is what I tell everyone that I work with. Tell your story, and tell how you made it out the other side, because this is how your tribe finds you. This is how people are like, "Oh my God, Keisha knows grief. I need to sit and talk with Keisha. Keisha's going to understand what I'm going through. Oh my God, I lost my brother too. I can totally resonate with what Keisha went through. I need to talk to her. I need to figure out how she made it out the other side." And through hearing Keisha's story is what's going to inspire them to walk their own path and know that they can do it, because Keisha made it out the other side, so can they. And this is how we're healers. We're not meant to, some people are meant to put their hands on people if they're doing like Reiki, whatever. But this is how we're meant to heal people, to show them what's possible, to show up. So when someone's showing up perfect and that they have no issues going on in their life and they don't ever feel this or that, like, that's a red flag. That's a big red flag if you can't feel, you don't see someone's why or how they got to where they got. Like V is an incredible, her story is incredible. Knowing V from almost a year ago to now, night and day difference. And I will absolutely say I am one of V's biggest supporters. I will always be. And I am so proud of how far she's come. Keisha too. Like, you guys have made such huge leaps and bounds in such a short time, less than a year. And sometimes we don't necessarily see it because we're in the midst of it, but
Right.
it's through us talking about it. It's through us sharing. So V, you being an air sign, Gemini, my lovely Gemini over here who loves to communicate, and then you sharing your story, that's your purpose in action. That is you literally transforming people's thoughts and their ideas of what this can look like or what it has to look like, because there is no one size fits all. And Keisha, you have your books going, you have all these things, right? But if I was gonna send someone, hey, like this person's struggling with grief, okay, I know Keisha deals with grief. Like I went through my own grief, but I'm not grief informed. So who am I gonna send them to? Someone who knows about grief. And this is how like the networking then plays into part, because like Shara, I know Shara is great at intuitive healing, right? Even when she don't want to, like that's who I'm gonna direct someone to. And this networking and knowing your stories, hearing your stories, amplifying your voices, because also representation matters. This is why Ermi has made such an incredible impact in so many people's lives, because they saw themselves in her. How many of you identified with her story of leaving the church and deconstructing from the religion? 90% of the people that find her identify with that. And they're like, oh my God, Ermi looks like me. Okay. And she shares something in common. I need to follow her. I need to find out what she did. Like, that is so powerful in itself.
Yes. Well,
And I
first
just
let
want
me
to say,
tell Shara to stop it. Let me just first say to Shara, stop it. We know. You know,
Well,
Shara, but we gonna send them all to you for intuitive healing, Shara, because we love you. But go
well,
ahead.
I was going to say what I love about Jess. Jess is one of those people in this space that we were in that made me, that would say to me, "You're valid. How you feel is valid. No one has the right to invalidate your feelings. They don't have to agree with your feelings, but you have the right to feel what you're processing and feeling." Because one thing I hate above all else is that toxic positivity. Don't start telling me shit like, all positive vibes over here, you go over there. Look, that's not real. Because we all human, like Jess said, we have negative feelings sometimes, we have positive feelings sometimes. And I hate when people try to take out how I'm feeling because they on this cliche shit that they think spirituality look like and supposed to sound like. That shit just not real. And it pushes people back the other direction. I mean, we did that shit at church. Well, if your faith was this and you were talking this, so you feel what I'm saying. So I love that about Jess and that part that she opened up in that space. And I also wanted to point out something else she said about your story and how you attract in your tribe. Because again, when I first got into mediumship and the whole nine, and I started thinking about how am I going to walk this path? What does spirit want from me? What I'm supposed to be doing? Like Jess said, the purpose, right? And it took me a minute to figure out that my purpose is to heal me. And whoever see what I'm doing and can relate to it, if it's something in there that helps you, cool. But I got to be authentic and true to the things that are going to move me forward. Because if I do that, everything else, the alignment going to come. So, I don't, I'm not up here trying to make, I don't do it because I don't feel like that's authentically me. Now, if that's you, that's you. But I don't make any videos now talking about what you need to do. I'm too busy figuring my shit out. Now, if I share a video, it's going to be about what I'm doing. And if you see something in that video that speaks to you and help you, then cool. But this is the way I'm going to go. And I think it's important that we say that because so many people, like you said, like she said, spiritually bypassing the aesthetics. This isn't a church. We ain't passing a collection plate. We all in this for a real reason, because we want to heal and move forward, to see whatever the path is. And I appreciate you saying that, Jess, because that just made that come to me. Because when you first come out into this, when we're no longer in that bubble where we're with you every day and we're with our mentors every day and we're out here in these spiritual streets, you can get real lost listening to people if you're not rooted in what you need and how you trying to go about things. And that's one of the things I appreciate about being able to go in my records, because now I can't get lost. I'm in a place where where I can access everything I need, and I'm so appreciative, Jess, for taking me on that journey. And I'm looking forward to the next steps, but I'm not rushing it because it really, for me, again, speaking only for me, it's not about this destination so much because all of the pieces I need are on the journey. I may never get to, in this incarnate where I want to be, but I can't skip the steps. As you said, I gotta do the work. Yeah. So that's just my thank you, Jay. I'm sorry, I'm long-winded, y'all. Y'all already know.
You good.
I'm sorry.
I just want to agree with you on that because when I started, well, let's be frank about it. We always on this spiritual awakening journey, but when we become aware that that's what we on, it was back in 2019 for me, and seeing the videos that I was seeing, it wasn't that many at that point in time. The influx hit in 2020. But the aesthetics of it and how everyone portrayed it out to the world made me feel like that my healing was, I was doing some shit wrong because I wasn't feeling the butterflies and in the sky and the seeing the rainbows. Like I felt like I was going through hell. Literally, I'm like, well, why is my journey feeling so hard? To the point where I just stopped. I stopped. I didn't want to think about it. I didn't want to think about healing or church. I didn't want to think about, you say the word God around me, you probably was gonna get cussed out. Like I literally stopped, but then I had to realize and go inward. Like it hurts too bad to go back because I can't unsee what I just saw. And I had to have a conversation with myself. Like I want to go through this temporary pain if it's gonna help me get to a better place. But the misconception that people put out there is just be amazing. Like, they had the sound bowls and they just la da 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 da. And granted, you can get to that place, when you've done the work, but you see a lot of pretend, and I think I'm very irritated with that because I keep speaking on it at this point.
We feeling your vibe, Keisha.
Yeah. But that's where discernment is key, right? Discerning what is in alignment with you. So when you're watching these people, okay, does this resonate as true for me? Am I in alignment with whatever is going on here? If not, keep it moving because there's going to be a lot of people out there. And that's also like how you identify like who's in your tribe and who you're in alignment with, right? Because there's going to be people who are absolutely not in alignment with me. That's fine. Like, please go to who you're in alignment with because who's meant for me will always come for me. Who's meant for Keisha, ain't no stopping them. They're coming for Keisha. Who's meant to come to me, they're absolutely coming to me. No doubt about it. I can't stop that. Keisha can't stop. Nobody can stop that from happening. But discernment with what people are talking about and saying, because I feel like what's going to start happening, especially with the rise of AI, the rise of new systems and technologies as we walk into this new paradigm and these, with a Pluto and Aquarius and in the age of Aquarius, is that we really have to discern the truth and what resonates and what's true and what's true for us, because I can't tell Keisha what's true for her. I can only tell you what's true for me. And there's going to be things out there intentionally to spread spiritual information, things that are not true. So that's where research, discernment, and all of that really is going to play a big factor. And if you're dysregulated, you're not going to realize what's true and what's not.
But I know we talked to Army on last week, but I must say it again. Like that's what I appreciated so much about Army when I connected to her. Well, when I started following her and watching her lives, it took me a minute to say something to Army, but the realness, the authentic, like she didn't put on a mask. She was her, and I resonated with it so much. I resonated with her. I'm like, she did the work. She's doing the work.
Absolutely.
She's real. She's authentic. I'm seeing it in real time. I'm seeing her grow in real time. that's how I gravitated to Army, and so I was very, very grateful for her. Not knowing that connecting to Army was going to open me up into a whole nother community of family, because a lot of you guys have become like family to me. So, of course, I got my new besties. I lost my bestie in 2020, and now I've gained two more besties. So I'm just grateful for it. But you are definitely right. Discernment. I'll tell anybody, if it don't take what resonates with you or the rest of that shit, throw it in the garbage can.
Mhm.
That's it. That's all. Jess, I guess we gonna get ready to wrap it up in a minute, but I do have.
I got another question.
Okay, go ahead, V.
I'm gonna wait for you to ask your question, then I'm gonna ask my question.
Okay, so this one is it's about the Akashic records, but I just want to know, are there any times, and this is for like beginners or who, people like me who know something but don't know a lot about the records. Are there times in life when someone is not meant to access their records, like they shouldn't try to go into their records?
Yeah, there might be times when you're not ready and you won't be able to access, you won't be able to raise your frequency high enough to access. And there's going to be times where when you're in there, and you request something or ask a question and you receive nothing back, it's because you're not meant to know in that moment. Because knowing would would influence you to act in such a way that would lead you off your highest path. And if it's something that's going to deter you, they will not allow for it to happen.
Man, I got that answer so many times in class, her and Shar. And I'm like, why don't just tell me? I don't know, tell me. Jessica be like, no.
I mean, because if, Keisha, let me ask you this. If you knew, I'm just going to use your brother as an example. If you knew what was going to happen to your brother, would you have done everything in your power to stop it so it wouldn't have happened?
Absolutely.
But it was in his contract for it to happen as it happened. Not that it was easy, but that was what his soul wanted. And so you would have not only taken yourself off your path, but taken him off his. And that could have done more harm than good. So
I wholeheartedly get that. I wholeheartedly get that and understand it now. And then the human part of me will still be like, well, we gonna take that chance and go off this route, because I wouldn't wanted that to happen. So I definitely could see why.
Wait a minute now. In my defense, I was just struggling with that fish that past me gave me. I'm like, what the fuck they give me a fish for? And it wasn't even a cooked fish. And I'm asking Shara, Jessica, like, Shara's like, no.
That's shower.
they told us
I was low key mad because I wanted them to tell me what the hell it was talking about. But I did figure it out, and it was worth it figuring it out on my own. But I just want to bring that up because they be knowing. And Jessica get you, and I started to learn that little look she had when she knew something, but she won't saying it. Mm-hmm. Right. But anyway, my question would be,
I'm sorry, V. I just wanted to say I'm glad that Jess brought that up, because that is something that I actually been that's been on my mind heavy this month. Specifically, well, it's really been on my mind for the last 2 months. That it was accepting the fact that my brother's soul contract was his contract, and it's a bitter taste in my mouth. It's a lump in my throat when I think of it, but I'm actively working through that. So for you to bring it up, it was like, okay, yeah. It was just, yeah. It was just.
I didn't even know all that. I didn't even know you were, but I just felt led to use that as an example. And it, don't get me wrong, because like my human side, the amount of things that I would have changed myself if given the chance, if I had the knowledge. But, and that's where we walk a really fine line, and we have to have that balance of, yes, we absolutely have every right as a human to honor our experiences and our emotions, be bitter, be mad, right? Because that hurt you. At the end of the day, you're hurt. You're mad and you're hurt and you're sad and all of these things all at once. That's all very valid. It hurt you when he left. It hurt you when that happened to him. And Keisha's allowed to fucking feel that. Keisha can feel that for as long as Keisha wants to feel that for. And nobody can say otherwise. Nobody can say when that healing or when that anger has to stop. There is nobody on this planet, and let them try and fucking tell you, because I'm gonna tell them to shut the. They need to go somewhere else. Because no, we don't get to tell people when it's time to get over someone being gone. When we have to get over the anger. But I can tell you from I can tell you from the other side. Like, yes, it was in his contract. I don't know what the reason was, but it was, right. And at some point, I think that you're going to have the full picture of what it was. And when you have that full understanding, for me, when we have that full understanding, the full picture, that's when our perspective is able to shift enough to where we're able to transcend that pain and finally step into forgiving not only what happened or what hurt us, but also ourself then for not knowing the bigger picture. I forgive my past self for not seeing the full aspect. And I forgive the parts of me that felt like I had to rush it, that felt like I had to change it, or felt that it was my responsibility. And so when we're able to shift that view and shift that perspective with that understanding, that's when the real magic happens. Because there's so many things like that come up. One of the biggest things is I hear is like, how could we ever decide as a soul to have children be hurt, or atrocious things happen to children or women, or how do we say that was a contract? How do we dismiss it? And we don't dismiss the harm that actively happened, but when we have the perspective to also see the lesson and what we were meant to learn and transcend, then we can look at the experience a little bit differently to move forward, because those are hard issues, right? Like, I can't believe my daughter signed up to be, S8 and then liver failure and almost die and all of these things. Like, for me, I'm like, what? And then I signed up to have like experiences, like, what? But when I understand why we signed up for this, what the lesson was, it gave me that understanding to be able to shift my perspective and be like, okay, I understand it, and I can start those steps of forgiving myself, releasing the shame, releasing the guilt for not doing better when I didn't know better. I didn't know any different. I didn't have the bigger perspective.
Yeah, I'm glad you said that. And I think that was divinely aligned. I know it was, because as you were speaking on that, the mother of his child is in the chat. Yes, and I think that was not only something that I needed to hear, that's something that I felt she needed to hear as well. So thank you, Jess. Divine alignment.
I'm sending so much love to her.
Yes.
You know what gives me
Was it
comfort?
the brother with the shoes? Or the other brother?
No, it's James. My niece's mother. The Gemini. Yeah. So Trish, if you're still in the chat, I think she is. Drop a yellow heart in the chat for me. I think she may be still, or she popped in and out. So, but yeah,
You know what gives me comfort? Knowing that that Rack was part of my soul family, that we're and that our cells, that we're still together in the spirit realm right now. That really does comfort me. I whenever I just think of it in terms of that, I'm able to cope a lot better than when I think about the life we had here in this physical. But when I think of it in terms of, I know he's in there standing by my bed. I know he's talking to me again. Oh, he get on my damn nerves. Like, we got this whole relationship now, and it's the one that's ongoing. So I feel that really gives me a sense of comfort as far as the grief goes.
And me,
And I was
I think I was most nervous for you to connect with Rocky in the records, just because I knew how much grief there was. I knew that it could help, but it can also, if someone's not ready, that can be a little too much. What was your experience? Like, how is it different having him come through a medium or you channeling him yourself to actually communicating with him in your records?
I didn't see him. First, let me say that, here he was burdened down by all the things, the addiction, and he was addictive in everything he did, whether it was food, whether it was, he just had a gluttonous spirit. And so he was chunky. And when I saw him in the records, he looked amazing. He was fit. He almost had like this inner glow, like, and his smile was so beautiful. And I could just see he was so, it just, and his whole energy felt so pure and felt so good to me. And it healed some of the things I felt. And I just think about how he looked here when he was struggling with the alcohol and the drugs and, just that lifestyle he was running in and holding down double lives. And, but here he was just, and I recognized him instantly. Even though he didn't look exactly like my baby, I knew who he was because energy don't change.
It don't change.
And I understand why Jessica was nervous, because I was really dealing with compound grief. I had more than just, and anyway, it really let me release a lot of things. And I still got work to do because I still got a level of anger at him that I haven't fully worked through. But I cuss him out whenever I feel like it, because I have to release that. And I'm learning that how I'm feeling not impacting him because they don't process emotions like we do. Mm-hmm. And he understands that I need this for my healing. So it was a experience that I needed. And you know what I love about the records too? Nobody's in there giving you a timeline. Oh, you were just talking about this shit last week. Oh, you were just talking about this shit today. Like Jessica said, nobody, you go in there and it's all about what you need.
Talking about that compound grief. Yeah, it's a lot for me too. I have compound grief as well that I'm still navigating through. People think because I'm a grief coach, I work with people with grief, that all my grief just magically disappeared. No, I'm actively working through it. But I've been actively on this journey for quite some time. So yeah, I have a lot of knowledge and experience that I can, share it with the world. I had no idea until recently, working on my natal chart, that grief was part of my soul's purpose. And it took a lot for me to sit there and process the fact that I've lost all of my loved ones, all of my closest loved ones, like literally all of my closest loved ones, but only for me to evolve into a part of my soul contract. It's still hard for me to even get those words out of my mouth. If you see I'm over struggling with it, Miss B. Just the realization of yourself. Sometimes it's a lot. It's a hard pill to swallow, but once you swallow that pill and you're able to process it, it gets a lot lighter for you. And not saying that my grief has gone away, but my grief has become lighter for me with a lot of the realizations that I have come to realize in my life. So yeah, just keep Healing, Miss V. Keep healing.
Let me tell y'all something. I was on the phone with a client. I'm bringing it up. I was on the phone with this client for like an hour. And I'm a paralegal by day. That's my day job. And so I'm on the phone with a client. And she just starts talking, and her mom just passed recently. And you know what happened while I'm on the phone with her. And this is what I learned about myself that day, y'all. And I reiterate, I said it earlier, but I'm going to reiterate it because this is how I know for sure that I'm doing what I'm supposed to do. She started talking, and immediately Spirit started talking. At first, I wasn't going to say nothing because, mind you, I'm at work, but I couldn't hold it. So I let it go. I gave it to her. Girl, that woman, she cried and she released, and she said, "Oh, V, I'm so happy that, I talked to you today. I haven't been able to talk to anybody about how I'm feeling, and everybody thinks I'm just supposed to get over this and da. The point I wanted to make is that moving forward, when we leave today, understand that your calling not just about the people that come on your lives or DM you about a reading. It could be Joe Smo in the grocery store. Mm-hmm. It could be little Miss Nancy standing by her car. I feel like when Spirit call us to do certain work, it's going to be those are the places that you're going to make the most difference. Mm-hmm. I don't have a large following on TikTok. Really don't give a fuck if I do or not. I just don't. But when I run into people, and they always find me up, and I just know I have that feeling, and I always say I want to be to somebody what I needed when I was at that point in my life. And so I just wanted to bring that up because sometimes I think people get caught up in, the branches, but it's those interactions like that day to day that we are doing what we are called to do. And I was one of those people for Jessica, because Jessica was that person that I needed in those moments. She never made me feel like a burden. She never made me feel like, oh, here she come again. Oh, this chick been crying for 6 months. When's she gonna stop crying? She never made me feel like that. Every little win was, come on, V, yes, V. And you don't know how encouraging that is. I'm just saying, I'm not a preacher. But, kindness, outside of spirituality, outside of everything else, kindness don't cost you a dime. And I just want y'all that's my word for the week. Be kind to somebody.
Yes.
Not because it's going to bring you nothing, not because you're getting paid. Just be kind to somebody this week.
And I'm glad that you said that, V, because for me, I do it because I didn't have anybody to do it for me. Mm-hmm. So if I can help one person have a better day, I've done enough. That's the satisfaction that I need. That's what warms my heart. So that's it for me, because I had to suffer in silence. I didn't even know how to ask for the help. And the people around me didn't even realize that I needed the help. I was functioning, doing my daily routine, and losing me, spiraling in the midst of it. And so I had to choose to live. I had to choose to bring myself out of it. Yeah, I did. So that's the reason that I like to help people, whether it's a young lady sitting on the side of the road. For instance, I do Uber and Lyft, and I love when I get those people in the car that may have had a rough day, or may not even had a rough day, may just get in the car and want to have a conversation. But I love those rides, because either they gonna help me or I'm gonna help them before we part and go our separate ways. So I get it. We have been out here
Yeah, we got to go. I'm sorry, y'all. It's always me.
Oh, you
But before
good.
you got to give your thing for the week, and I just want to take a second to say those of you who may not know, if you weren't paying attention for the last hour and 51 minutes, Jessica has an Akashic record class. And I believe her 101 class is happening right now, and level 2 starts on the 27th.
Level 2 starts on the 27th, and
Oh,
my next level 1 starts January 3rd.
I'm with Shara. I
And
can listen to
listen,
beat talk all day too, Shara.
and we know I will. But y'all, I really want to encourage you, if you are looking for the next step in your healing process, if you are looking for the next step to just do something that is going to enrich your life so much, please check out Jess's website. And what is it, Jessica? Can you put it in the chat for those who may not know?
I think it's justnextlevel.com.
Just Next Level.
I think it's got the whole .com. I think I registered it.
Well, yeah, and I promise you, you will not regret it. Jess is an awesome teacher. The format of her class makes it easy to follow along. You're going to have some transformational experiences. And, you know, I had a classmate that said she accomplished more in that class than 10 years of therapy. So, am I lying, Jess?
No, you.
Yes, she said that
You did.
because you are in real time finding out where you are, you know, why that wound is there. And that's the thing, you're doing root work. I don't want to say it like that because somebody might think you out here trying to put a hex on somebody's ass. You're doing, what's the word, Jess?
We're getting up in it. It's okay, Lena. We are getting up in it because listen, if y'all want to walk your highest path, if you want to walk in your purpose, you got to get to the root of the things. And that includes your inner child. That includes, those big bad shadows that are in there that might need to be surfaced. Maybe it's a past life echo that you're still experiencing lessons in this lifetime because of it. Maybe it's a karmic, but you never know unless you go in and find out. And that's really my goal. Like, I want to see people win. I want to see people heal. I want to see people transcend the things that they've been through. I want to see people turn their pain into purpose. And I mean, like Keisha was saying, like her why she helps people. The bottom line, that's my why. I had nobody. I had to figure it all out on my own, and I want to make someone else's life a little bit easier. I can't do it for you because that would be defeating the purpose. But I can show you the way.
Hey, Sally.
And so, Jess, we always end with a word for the week. I've already given mine, but I also want to take a minute to say, guys, make sure you go to Keisha's link in the bio, because say the word anthology. And she's releasing her book of stories. She's still taking people. I don't know all the particulars. I just love Keisha and I want y'all to support her. So make sure you go to the link in the bio, because I actually have a chapter in the book.
Yes. So
it might be some photos in there that, like, I'm gonna be like Epstein files. I might release my files. But anyway, but I'm excited about it. So make sure you check out the link in Keisha's bio, because we all support each other and we all want to be a part of everybody's come up. I know I do. I'm rooting for everybody. I'm like Jess. I want to see everybody win. So
for the anthology, if you are interested in writing on the anthology, just DM me or just send me an email. My email is in the bio as well, because I will actually have a interest meeting right after the holiday, Christmas rather, so that we can go ahead and get the project started. It's called Love Language of Grief, When the Love Still Speaks. But you know what your grief is about. So we're not specifically just focusing on death. You can write about whatever your grievance has been, but writing is therapeutic. So I want to be able to help the world get their stories out, because you don't know what your story can do for someone else's life. So that's my
And for my
speaking.
own plug, I don't really have a plug other than to say that I'm kind of hanging out on Saturday mornings, just decompressing from my week. I don't have a specific thing to do or say. This week I was coloring.
I love it though.
So, I mean, if you guys want to stop by, hang out with me, and just, you know, decompress, talk about some things. Sometimes I might be playing some spades, it don't matter. I just wanted to hang out a little bit and give people a place to come and talk about stuff. It don't have to be anything in particular. So, thank you so much, Jess, for joining us today.
So Jess she gotta give her theme for the week. I'm gonna go ahead and drop mine.
Over there thinking.
Because you already said yours, right, V? What was yours?
Yeah, I said mine. Be kind to someone this week.
Be kind to somebody.
Even if it's you.
Yes.
Even if the person is you. Because people act like when you say be kind and do things for people, why you don't never include yourself in that list? It seems like you would be the first one on the list, right?
Come on, you talking.
We're gonna leave that shit in 2025, y'all. You got 2 more weeks to work that shit out, and we're gonna be on to the next. Be kind to someone this week.
Well, you know what? My word even tied into yours, and mine was commitment. Commit to yourself this week. Commit to yourself this week.
I'm gonna commit to buy me some crisp. Nah.
Yeah. Look, I ain't gonna say you don't run through your budget now.
We don't even want to get started on my budget. Oh, listen. Look at here. Did y'all see my new crystal?
Ooh,
hey,
nice.
Nikki. Oh,
I love it. I've been sleeping with it, Jessica.
Is that pyrite?
Okay, go ahead.
Labradorite.
Yes.
Labradorite. Well, y'all know I wear glasses, right? So
that flash is so pretty. Oh my goodness.
I love it.
Yeah.
I'm not going to talk about where I got it from because my live got restricted Saturday because I mentioned the shop that I got this from.
Wow.
Right. Anyway.
TikTok hating. But hey. Yeah, so the word is commit to yourself this week. And then Jess has a word. Hey, Nikki. How you? Jess, you got a word for the people this week?
Is it okay if I have 2?
Absolutely.
Yes.
Awareness and accountability.
Come on now. Awareness and accountability.
Be aware of what you're doing, what you're thinking, and hold yourself accountable. Right? We expect everyone else to be, this or that, but what are our thoughts doing? What are we thinking? What are we paying attention to? What are we feeding into ourselves? So awareness and accountability for it.
Ooh, this is why she a teacher, y'all.
Yeah.
So Nikki said, leave her alone. She just got here, Jess.
Make what resonates and leave the rest.
Solar Sun Child, if you still in the chat, drop a heart in the chat, please. Not that you woke up, Nikki. Well, first of all, Nikki, we ain't arguing with no fools in 2026. There she go. She's still in here. Okay.
Hey, Zora.
Hey, Zora, how you doing? So, yeah, we gonna, I need to, Jess, is there a way for us to do like a little private chat on here real quick? I don't know nothing about TikTok, so I gotta ask questions.
On here, I don't know.
I'll figure it out. Okay. All right. Well, I thank you all for tuning in with us today with Spiritual Tea with V and Key. I hope you guys go and have a amazing and a wonderful week. Cause somebody else out if you need to. It don't matter. Just do you. Commit to you this week. And Miss V said you got to be kind to somebody,
Even if it's you.
even if it's you.
See y'all next time.
Y'all have a good week.
Thank you, Jess.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you, Jess. We love you.
I love y'all.